is what viruses do. Most of these mutations don't cause greater or lesser infectivity or severity, and this is one of the ones that we are looking at. So we have a special working group that we have formed, which is not only identifying different mutations that are being identified and being reported in the sequences that are being shared, we're actually looking at how do we better understand what these mutations mean in terms of the way that they behave. So this is one of the mutations that we will be looking at, and much more research is needed on all of these potential changes in the virus. Thank you, Dr. Zak.
Yebo, Mr. Battis. Just unmute yourself. There we go. Maybe. No, I can't unmute you, eh?
There, how are you doing?
All right to you, eh?
Good, thank you. Did you hear the message this morning on WR?
Which one?
That your friend is standing in as
Chairman.
chairman, yeah.
Oh, Philip. Yeah, no.
Philip, yeah.
I heard that. I mean, you know, again, very unconstitutional. Boy, if I was a member of the club, I'd be throwing my toys out the cot again, eh?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really bad when people can just go ahead and do as they please, I suppose, eh?
Yeah. That's what they do.
Yeah, I don't know.
Otherwise, all good.
Yeah, no, all well. I was just listening to World Health again and following what's going on with this virus. I mean, it's not good at all, I must admit. Eh?
Yeah. No, it's not good.
I wonder who else is going to come up. I just want to have a look at where the link is. Don't know who that was.
Yeah, no, they already testing a few times.
Yeah, between that and ZS6WR Echolink is really.
Yeah. But that you do on the front end of the Echolink, you program it there and then it picks it up and give you that message and stuff.
Yeah, it is. And I don't know, you know, Thursday night, Friday, the whole day yesterday, it was off. 9 o'clock this morning, it started again. So,
I heard it a few times yesterday.
No, it was off the whole day yesterday. It only came back on this morning. Because I still kept the handheld on last night. And when I woke up at 3 o'clock, I thought, well, you know, I better, when I get up, I better check and see that Echolink is actually on.
Mm.
You know, that the link was up.
Sorry. I suspect they switch Echolink off.
No, I think what happens is the computer goes into or has a brain freeze. And then it hangs.
Sleep mode.
Yeah, and then when Nick realizes it, he goes and reboots it.
Yeah. Or just move a mouse or a thing.
All right, so where we? 1900.
But tell me, the Santon one, is the Santon one linked to also to one of the Europe or American frequencies as well? Because it sometimes just sounds to me different because it's giving the weather report and all of that.
No, Justin built another module that does that of its own accord. It's
okay.
It's something totally different. Eh?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. I got 1923, August 2020, that being the year. Trust everybody's well. Let's hear who's out there for this evening's weekly net. ZS6 OPS standing by. Okay, good stuff. There we go. Let's acknowledge ZS6 VIL, ZS6 FPS, and ZS6 GRG. George Pierre, I think try and connect on WhatsApp. Oh, not on WhatsApp, on Zoom. Come up on Zoom as well. Let's hear who else is out there. ZS6 IPS standing by.
Who was the last guy?
SCO.
SEO.
Norman. All right, acknowledging Norman, ZS6 Sierra Charlie Oscar, also come up on Zoom there. ZS6 IP is still standing by. Looks like it's going to be a short net and short meeting. Right, 1901. Let's check and see if anybody else is out there for this evening's weekly net. I've also got Rob on Zoom. So let's proceed from here. ZS6 IP is still standing by. Okay, definitely looks like it's going to be a short night tonight, eh? And not like the traffic outside my gate. I see that seems to be building up, doing better than the number of call-ins on the nets lately. Okay, let's hear anybody else out there. ZS6 IP is still standing by. Okay, 1903. Let's do this as a second last call. And after the last call, if nobody else comes up, we'll just do a quick round of greetings of the guys that are here. And then we'll close the net down. The ZS6 IP is still standing by. Okay, nothing else heard at this stage. Last call, and that goes for Echolink users as well. Anybody that wants to join, please give us your call sign. ZS6 IP is still standing by. Right, 1905. There we go. Good evening, everybody. Trust everybody as well. I see some people are having some problems connecting. I don't know why that is. So let's just double check it quickly. Okay, this net runs every Sunday from 1900 for approximately an hour. We used to run it at 17 hours 30. It's designed for the radio amateurs who have an interest in MCOM or emergency communications. The net is open to everybody and anybody, regardless of whether you are a member of any body or entity or otherwise. The only thing you need to do is pay your ECRN license fee. That's the only thing required. And of course, you're more than welcome to come and participate and throw in anything or raise any questions. Okay, let's start off with a round of greetings from everybody. And at the end of it, I'll just give you a COVID-19 update quickly, and then we'll move on from there. So let's start with batters, ZS6 VRL, ZS6 OPS, and the net.
All the maintenance has been done, all the stuff has been done that was outstanding for a while. So yeah, it's going good this side. Over back to you. Very OPS, very strict out.
All right, good stuff there, Battis. Yeah, at least you managed to get through things, and maintenance-wise and all the rest of it. I think after 5 months of lockdown, many people have accomplished those minor tasks that have been put off for years. Right, Mr. Pierre, who's also joined us on Zoom there. I don't know if you've hung or if you're frozen or what there, but you seem to be sitting extremely still on my Zoom screen. ZS6 FPS, ZS6 OPS.
Great stuff. Thank you very much, Chad. Good evening, everybody on the net. It's all going well, so nothing to report really. Just that to be up. That's all from my side. There is 6 FPS, there is 6 FPS.
Okay, good stuff. Thanks, Pierre. Let's throw this now over to Mr. George, ZS6 GRG, ZS6 OPS in the net.
ZS6 OPS, ZS6 GRG, hello. Well, for Zoom, but it still wants a number and password number. I've used Zoom before, and yeah, I thought just by entering the URL, I would get straight through. Other than that, yeah, everything's fine on my side. Yeah, but it's far Wednesday to, what's it, East London? I always get East London and Portugal mixed up. I just hope I arrive at the same, at the right town on Wednesday. Yeah, other than that, everything's doing okay. 36 GRGs, back to the group, 36 okay.
All right, good stuff there. Now, something bombed out there. George, you can check your WhatsApp. I'm busy sending that number and the link to you. But if you check the group, I did in actual fact have the full link there. And Pierre dropped off, so I wonder if there aren't some internet problems, because I know many people have been complaining about slow internet and all the rest of it. Norman, ZS6 SCO, ZS6 OPS in the net.
Sorry, I had to run away from the radio, so I wasn't around for the last about a minute and a half. Yeah, a little bit behind you.
Okay, Norman. Yeah, no, nothing specific, just around the greetings and all the rest of it there. So I don't know if there's something you want to put in, and I'll give it to Adrian after you come back with the response. ZS6 SCO in the net, ZS6 OPS.
No, nothing from my side. All good, yeah. I think nothing to complain about or anything. Okay. Yeah,
All right, good stuff, Norman. Yeah, somebody keen up over you there. Seems to be doing it on a regular basis. But I think we all copied you. Good stuff, man. All right, good evening, Adrian. ZS6SNY, ZS6OPS. Also, you need to come up on Zoom with the net over.
On the net, all well on our side. Sorry for being a little bit late. Guys, I will record. I'll be standing by.
Okay, good stuff there. Pierre, George, and Adrian, try to come up on Zoom there quickly as well. Let me give everybody the update of where we stand. I'm actually quite surprised. I must admit, I know yesterday I was a little bit busy and I didn't pay much attention to what was happening globally. And I know that on Thursday, and Friday, we were sitting at the 22 million mark. And yeah, I noticed this morning that global cases, 23,260,775. Numbers are really increasing, even though economies are opening up worldwide, eh? And of course, the US at 5.6 million, Brazil at 3.5 million, India 3 million. But India is actually taking a bit of a walloping at the moment. They've just reported their highest number of 70,000 new cases in the last 24 hours. So that's extremely high. And Russia at 954,000. And of course, next on the list will be South Africa. South Africa now standing at 607,045. Now, guys, I want to actually just point this out to you, especially to the older members that know Ellis Park Stadium in particular. Ellis Park Stadium officially holds 60,000 spectators in the stands. I'm not talking about standing on the field. I'm talking about in the stands. The South African case total today, standing at 607,000, is the equivalent of filling 10 Ellis Park stadiums with COVID-19 cases. You know, it's a lot of people, eh? Stop and think about it. It's an extremely large amount of people. Then in addition to that, South Africa is standing at 12,987 people that have lost their lives. This is the figures that were released in the last 24 hours. I'm just doing an update. No, they haven't updated today's as yet. Currently, we're averaging something in the region of about 3,700 new cases per day. Globally, our mortality is currently standing at, when the page has finished refreshing and giving me all the figures, 805,000. So in that one, you're basically looking at, let me clear my timer from ZS6OPS. All right, so there we go. ZS6OPS returning 805,000 globally. Guys, this is a virus that we cannot just ignore, whichever way you look at it. You know, the thing that I wanted to point out specifically for radio amateurs and for the radio amateurs that are listening, guys, I want you to share this information with the other radio amateurs, because I think radio amateurs in general are missing the plot. I think a lot of people that are utilizing two-way radios are missing the plot. Security companies, towing companies, security companies, you name it. I think they're missing the plot. So what I want to actually do is I just want to very briefly discuss the mode of transmission. And no, I'm not talking about FT8. I'm talking about viral transmission. And in the shortest and simplest terms, when it comes to COVID-19, we have known for the last 8 months that COVID-19 is spread by droplets that are expelled when we cough or sneeze. And they go somewhere. And it is because of the somewhere factor that certain health protocols were implemented worldwide. And those initial protocols started off with cough and sneeze into your elbow, and to wash your hands, or to sanitize with 70% alcohol. And the more that the world learned about COVID-19, the more suggestions, recommendations, and protocols were implemented in order to save lives, like the wearing of face masks. And it is at this point that I want to point something out to every single radio amateur and every single radio operator. Guys, the South African health regulations currently stipulate that all businesses that open, and by the way, businesses that open, sporting clubs that open, every single facility that opens has to comply with the health regulations for a reason. ZS6OPS returning, and that is quite simply that the Department of Health can ensure the safety of the workers and the people that are coming back into the working environments. And if you study the regulations carefully, it says that the following are permitted to open. So whichever way we look at it, there are activities that are starting to open, and as a result of it, workplaces must be sanitized on a regular basis. Point one. Point number two, workstations may not be shared. Now, those are two very interesting statements that are made in all of the Department of Health regulations, the disaster management regulations, and the directives issued for each and every single specific industry type that is opening up. And the question is, why are those two important? Let me clear timeout. Right, ZS6OPS returning. Why are those two so important? Simple, droplets. Droplets. People are going back to work. That could be, or people are gathering in places, gyms included, cinemas, restaurants, home visits, wherever people are coming together outside of the lockdown. This COVID-19 is spread by means of droplets. So yeah, you got a person who is COVID positive, diagnosed or undiagnosed, who is also asymptomatic, thereby meaning they show no signs of having the virus, and they pitch up at your house, they pitch up at your location, they sit in your vehicle, whatever the case might be, and being radio amateurs, they might pick up your microphone and call their buddy and have a quick chat in QSO. Well, guess what? I'd like to ask this question. Who can actually advise us on how to sanitize a microphone safely? I'm not talking about the safety of the person. I'm talking about the safety of the microphone. How do we sanitize a microphone without causing any damage at some point or another? I'm not saying we will, but I'm not saying we won't. I don't know. I've never tried to sanitize a microphone. But I've got to think of it this way. What happens if I spill my coffee over my microphone? What's going to happen? Now, I say this with a smile on my dial. I know those of you that are on Zoom, you can't see I'm smiling because of all the hair and the beard and long moustache, but I'm smiling. Why do I bring this point up? Droplets. As we speak across or into a microphone, we are dispersing droplets onto the microphone. We put it down on the desk, and the next chappie walks in and picks it up, and guess what? One, he gets it on his hands. Two, because, or it depends on how quickly he's picked up the microphone after you put it down. Two, that movement, timeout timer, ZS6IP is returning. The actual movement around the body can displace the droplets that have accumulated on the microphone and end up on the second person's face, mouth, nose, eyes. But whoa, didn't the World Health Organization and all of the health regulations as far back as January, when this pandemic was declared, before the national disaster or state of disaster was declared, was it not said, do not touch your face, your nose, your eyes? Because that is where we transfer the coronavirus from. We touch it somewhere else and we bring it up to our face, and that is how we contract coronavirus, now known as COVID-19. So guys, my question is quite simple. What are the implications of sharing our cell phones, our microphones, our headsets if you are working in call centers, headsets with boom microphones, whatever the case might be? I'm throwing this out to every single radio amateur and every single person who is actually listening to my broadcast tonight, as a means of food for thought. You know, it's all fair and well. I've heard of some smaller businesses actually telling their employees, for example, you can come back to work, I'll re-employ you, but you're going to sign a disclaimer that the business is not responsible if you contract COVID-19. Well, sorry to say to those businesses, guys, listen, the regulations actually stipulates that if you intentionally infect another person with COVID-19, you have committed a crime. Now I'm asking the radio amateurs, those of you that are starting to allow people to come and visit you, if there are other radio amateurs, number one, are you prepared to let them use your microphone? And number two, are you now going to be prepared to use somebody else's microphone? Guys, think about this. For me personally, the sharing, let's just go back to the sharing aspect. ZS6IP is returning. The sharing aspect was actually covered in the health regulations with regards to self-quarantining. And there it was a directive that during self-quarantining, the infected person had to use dedicated utensils that may not be shared with others in the household. What is different between your microphone and a plate? What is different between your microphone and a knife and a fork? What is different between your microphone and a glass or a mug? For me personally, the answer, and this is a personal opinion, is nothing. But with my previous, and I know Rob is on Zoom tonight, he's listening to this, and if he has got anything to say in disagreement, I welcome it. Rob, put it out on the group. Correct me if I'm wrong. But with my medical background, or paramedical background, to be more accurate, there is nothing different between your microphone and a plate. And it is a tool for potential infection. And I think this is something that needs to seriously be considered. All of the documentation that is coming through, look guys, there's a mutation. COVID-19, coronavirus, COVID-19 as it's now known. There is officially a mutation to it already after 8 months. Dr. Maria has actually stipulated on Friday that this is something that they are currently looking into. Just because the economy is opening up, it does not mean that we are safe. My word of warning that I'm putting out to every single person, guys, stay home. Even though you're allowed to visit family of 10 people or up to 10 people in a house, stay home. You can't sign disclaimers allowing somebody else to put you into a possible predicament that could cost you your life. I'm sorry. That doesn't go down well with me. Consider the potential risk of the utensils, the microphones, and each and every single thing you touch, especially if you are ZS6 IPS returning, especially if you are over the age of 60, or you have, I said or, not and, I said or, you can be 21 with heart disease, you will fall into the or category, or you have any other underlying conditions, anything to do with the chest and anything to do with diabetes and obesity in particular, you are more susceptible to contracting COVID-19. Don't take the chances of infecting yourself, number one. But number two, unless you are being tested every day and getting your results immediately, do not consider yourself COVID-19 free or COVID-19 negative and just randomly rush out and do things because you could infect others that will cost them their lives. That goes for your family members as well. The whole purpose of MCOM, this MCOM net, this is a form of emergency communication in the public interest. And I urge all radio amateurs to hear what is being said, number one. Number two, to think carefully before you do something. And then number three, decide for yourself. That is your South African constitutional right. You choose. I'm not telling anybody what to do, but I am telling you this. From my side, I am not going to put anybody into a situation whereby they could, one, infect me, so call me selfish, or two, that if I ever am or have been or currently, I'm currently infected, I am not going to put myself in a position whereby I will or could infect somebody else. 23 million, 80,000 dead. 607,000 in South Africa and climbing. NICD has stipulated that within 2 weeks, ZS6 IPS returning, they expect the daily average, which is now around about 4,000, to increase, and it could exceed the numbers we saw in July, end of June, July, and the first part of August of 12, 13,000 new cases a day. There is also the potential of the second wave, which can happen at any time. I mean, in some countries, they predict so many months down the line, and half that time, there they've been hit again. Guys, let's be careful out there. Bertus, if there's anything you want to comment, question, or otherwise, I want you to go ahead. Otherwise, you can bid your 7-3s and then stay on Zoom, guys. We'll pick it up from there. ZS6 VRL in the net, ZS6 OPS.
Nothing concern. Something that you need to look after, and the important most important thing is to look after yourself. Look after yourself and looking after your family. So on my side, yeah, see something have an impact and it's a big impact. That yes, we must just focus and walk the walk. That is only our limit.
All right, good stuff. There we go. I see there's 10 minutes left on the Zoom, so if it bombs out, guys, just sign back in. I'll open it up again. ZS6 FPS, ZS6 OPS.
Hi, Chad. Nothing really from my side. I'm just a bit concerned about my son's little daughter, which is now, she now has to go back to school. I don't know how they're going to handle all of this with a lot of small children in classes and playing out in the playing, what do you call it, field, playing field. That's it from my side. ZS6 OPS from ZS6 FPS.
Yeah, and Pierre, it's very concerning this all round, and you know, the social distancing alone at 1.5 meters distance minimum between people. You know, guys, think about it on a what's it? I think I worked it out on a 4x4 square meter room. The maximum people I think you can get in there is 12 people to maintain a 1.5 to 2 meter distance between people. You know, we shouldn't walk past each other less than 1.5 meters apart. You know, so when you start seating people or standing people in a room like that, 1.5 meters does not go very far. You get very few people inside of a 4x4, 8x8 square meter. I'm just, you know, using my office as an average. How many people could I get in my office here? Well, to be quite honest, probably in the region of about 6. So there you go. So yeah, school's definitely a problem. George, let's go your way. ZS6 GRG in the net, ZS6 OPS.
ZS6 OPS, ZS6 GRG. Yeah, about 3 weeks ago, I traveled to Cape Town, and I've got a loose connection here, but I hope it's going through. And yeah, I take my head off to ECRN because everybody had a window seat and nothing else. And I came back on another airline, and we were crammed up like sardines. So hats off to ECRN for proactive thinking. That's all on my side. ZS6 OPS is the group, ZS6 GRG.
All right, good stuff, George. Well, I hope you were actually sardines in oil and not sardines in brine. Brine's a little bit bland for me, so there we go. Right, let's see who's next on the list. Mr. Feet, ZS6 SCO, ZS6 OPS and the net.
ZS6 OPS and the net, ZS6 SCO. No, nothing from my side. Just take it as bad as well.
All right, good stuff there. Thanks, Norman. Okay, Rob, Melissa, I'll catch you guys on Zoom. We'll take yours off private. I know, Rob, you're busy with your radio amateur studies there, and I think once we come back up on Zoom after I've closed the net, you can tell us a little bit more about it there. Adrian, I wonder if you there. I see a blank office. Ah, there we go. He's got a hand up. ZS6SNY in the net. ZS6 Oscar, Papa, Sierra.
From OPS, nothing more to add, Ted. I could just say that my wife is a teacher, and they are very strict at the schools with regards to the monitoring and the social distancing and patrolling on the playing field just for peer sake. They are really trying their best from the school side so that there's no transmission. There is OPS from the
All right, there we go. Thanks for that input. Okay, guys, let's see any other late call-ins. ZS6 OPS standing by. All right, nothing else. For the guys that are up on Zoom at the moment, I'm going to end the meeting. I'll open it up again. So give it a minute or two and then just sign back in and we can have a chat there. For everybody else, thank you very much for calling in.